Welcome in the 17th episode. Today we will add win logic to our game. If you want to help support this channel, hit the subscribe button below this video, turn on notification so you will not miss any future video. So let's quickly review what we're gonna do. So once you start the game, you'll be going to the first puzzles which is not solved from the certain category, and then once you solve the puzzle, you will be moving to another puzzles from the same category, and then when you solve all of the puzzles from the certain category, the next category will be unlocked. So since last episode I have created a few more puzzles. So I have for my food I have 4 puzzles currently, and for the animals I have 2 puzzles. But make sure you add at least 1 puzzle for every single category in your game. So make sure you have some puzzles for the animals, countries, food, hobbies, sport and work. And once you add these puzzles, make sure you add those puzzles to your game level data list. So currently I have only 2 puzzles for my food. So I will just lock this inspector now and I will add the new puzzles which I created. So I will go to the food category, and then under the food category I will first set to 0 and then grab all of these puzzles and then drop it in my board data. And I will do the same for my animal. I will get those 2 and then drop it on the board data. I don't have any more puzzles for these categories, as this is just the tutorial project for me, but make sure you add these puzzles in. So if you forgot how to add the puzzles, you have to just right click, create, and then board data. Let me just unlock this. And then once you create the board data, you will have to set the columns and then rows. Add some words to the list, fill up this word, make sure all of the letters are capital, so click to upper and then fill up with random. So make sure there is no empty spaces in your board. And that's it. So make sure you have some puzzles for every single category. And now when I start the game, as you see, I have the 4 puzzles for my food category. So when I solve the first puzzle, currently nothing happened. So at this moment we should go to another puzzles from the same category. So let's quickly do that. So in order to do it, we need to go to the scripts and then let's open the word checker script. So inside the word checker, I will scroll right at the bottom of this class and then I will create new function. So this is gonna be the private void, and I will call it checkboard completed. So this function will check if we have completed our board or not. So I will add new variables. Load next level will be equal to false. And then we want to check if the current game data dot selected board data dot search words dot count is equal to completed words. Okay, so if we have found all of the words which we're searching for, that means the board is completed. So now we want to save the current level progress, so I will just put comments. Okay, and let's add few variables. So var the category name will be equal to current game data dot selected category name, then var current board index will be equal to data saver dot read category current index value, and then we want to pass inside the category name. Okay, so we want to get the current index of our board, then var, and this is going to be the next board index, will be equal to -1, and var the current category index will be equal to 0. So now we want to put the for loop int index is equal to 0, index is less than the game level data, and we want to make sure we have this game level data. Let's just go right at the top of this class, and we need to actually add one more public variable. So right below the current game data, I will add another public game level data, and I will call it game level data. Okay, with the small letter. So now we can go back to our function, and inside our for loop we can use our game level data dot count index plus plus. So we want to loop through all of the levels, and then if read next level name, and we don't have this variable, so right above this for loop I will add bool read next level name will be equal to false. So if read next level name is equal to true, we want to do the next board index will be equal to data saver dot read category current index value, and we want to pass the name, so we want to get the game level data dot data at index dot category name, and then read next level name will be equal to false. And then we want to put another if statement. So if the game level data dot data at index dot category name is equal to, make sure you put double equal sign, category name, we want to put the read next level name is equal to true, and then current category index is equal to index. Okay, so now outside of this for loop we will put var current level size will be equal to game level data dot data at current category index dot board data dot count, and then if the current board index is less than the current level size, we want to do the current board index plus equal 1. You can put plus equal 1 or plus plus, doesn't really matter. So now let's call data saver dot save category data, and let's put the category name and then current board index. Okay, and then below we want to unlock next category. So we want to unlock the next category if our current board index is more or equal to the current level size. So if we have solved all of the puzzles from the certain category, we want to unlock another category. So we want to increase the current category index plus plus, and then if the current category index is less than the game level data dot count. So if this is not the last category, let's put comment. We want to do the category name will be equal to game level data dot data at current category index dot category name. Then we want to set the current board index to be equal to 0, because we want to start from the first board on the next category. And then load next, actually this should not be level, load next category. So let's scroll up, and at the top we have added this load next level. So let's rename it to be load next category. Okay, make sure you have this name, it's more descriptive. And then let's go back and then use this load next category will be equal to true. And then if the next board index is less or equal than 0, we want to do the data saver dot save category data, and we want to call the category name and then current board index. Okay, let's put the braces around this. Let's go outside of this if statement, and then let's put else. And now we need to add the scene management to our using statements. So scroll right at the top and then add using Unity engine dot scene management. Okay, make sure you have this using statement in. Let's go back to our function, and then inside our else statement, let's call the scene manager dot load scene, and we want to load our select puzzle category. Select puzzle category. So let's quickly double check this name. Let's go back to Unity. Let's save everything and go back to Unity. And then let's go to the scenes folder. And actually I made mistake with my naming. So make sure you have this select category scene. Okay, so I will just press F2 and then Ctrl C to copy this name. And now let's go back to our scripts, word checker. Let's go back to our function, to the checkboard completed, and then let's paste in this name, the proper name for our scene which we want to load. Okay, so this is the select category. Make sure you have the right name set. This is in our else statement, and let's add another else statement to our first F statement, so to this statement. So else game events dot board completed method. Board completed method. Okay, so we want to create this event. We're going to do that in the second. And then let's go down, and then if load next category, call another event, so game events dot on unlocks next category method. Okay, so we need to create two new events. First one when we complete our board, and another one when we unlock the next category. Okay, but first of all we need to call this function from somewhere. So let's go to our checkboard is here, and then inside our F statement, before we return from this function, let's call the check board completed. Okay, so now let's go to our game events class and let's add two more events. So the first event will be the board completed. So I will just copy my previous event. Let's say we're gonna copy this clear selection. So I will save some typing. Okay, let's add this separator. And then let's rename this event to be board completed. Board completed. Let's copy it, paste it here, and then on board completed. And then let's rename this one to be board completed method, and then on board completed. Okay, make sure you rename, replace all of the names, and then let's copy this event again, paste it down, and then let's rename it to be unlock next category. Okay, let's rename everything on unlock next category, and then unlock next category method. Let's copy this on unlock next category and paste it here. Okay, so we have our two events which we're calling from our word checker. Let's quickly go to the word checker and make sure the names is correct. So as you see, I made mistake in the naming. So unlock next category method. Let's copy. I will copy this name. Let's go back to our word checker and then paste it here. Okay. So we have all of the names matching now. So now we need to create two pop-ups. The first pop-up will be displayed whenever we complete our board inside the same category, and then another pop-up will be displayed whenever we complete the whole category. And then of course, if we are on the last category and last board, so when we win the game, we're gonna just go back to our select category scene. Okay, so let's save everything, and now let's go back to the Unity. And now if you start your game, nothing should happen. So if you complete the puzzle, there is still nothing happened. So now let's go back to the scenes folder, and then let's open the game scene. And then under our canvas, I will right click, create empty, and I will call this empty object win popup. Okay, and then inside this win popup, I will just right click, UI panel, and let's change the color of this panel to maybe be a bit gray, and then go to the edit mode, to the scene mode, and just make this panel to be the same size as our canvas. So we're gonna cover the whole screen with this panel. Okay, so when you switch back to your game view, you will see everything is darkened. So now you can adjust this darken, how dark you wanna get, and then you can manipulate this alpha value as well. And now let's add the pop-up. So I will right click on this win pop-up, create empty, and I will call it pop-up. Okay, then right click on this pop-up, UI image, and let's call this image background. And now let's go to our graphics game scene, and then you have the pop IP texture. Just grab it and drop it into the source image. Hit the set native size. So you'll see this is our pop-up background. Then let's add the next button. So I will right click on this pop-up, UI button, and this, let's call it next button. Let's remove this text component, and then apply the graphics, which is under our game scene, and then next level. So grab this next level button and then drop it into the source image. Then press set native size. I will move it a bit down, maybe here. So let's add another button, right click UI button, and this is gonna be the exit button. Okay, let's remove this text component, and then select this exit button, and then grab our exit button texture and drop it into the source image, and then set native size. Okay, let's move it down. So I will move this button to be right at the bottom, and then the next button to be a bit higher. Okay, now let's add the image. So right click on the pop-up, UI image, and I will just leave it the name as it is, and then I will grab the Mr. Square Happy and drop it into the source image, and then press the set native size, and I will move it up. Okay, and then we need to well done writing at the top. So right click UI image, and I will call it title, grab from our game screen graphics, let's grab the well done and drop it into the source image and then set native size and then move it up. Okay, so this is our win pop-up. So as you see, when you deactivate this win pop-up, everything is going back to normal. So I think I will just select my panel and make it a bit darker. And then manipulate the alpha value. Okay, so the win pop-up is really in the front, but you still can't see anything in the back. So I think that looks good. Let's implement now the next button. So in order to implement this button, we actually need to add one more script. So I will quickly go to the scripts folder, and then I will just right click, create C# script, and I will call this script win popup. Okay, let's open the script now. And then right at the top, I will just remove these comments. We will add the public game object and then win popup. Okay, and then in our start method, let's do the win popup dot set active, and we're gonna pass false. So make sure that the win popup is always deactivated when we start the game. Then we can remove our update method. And then let's add two methods, the onEnable and onDisable. So I will use the shortcut. I will just select the Ctrl+Shift+M on my keyboard, and you will have the list of all of the Unity function. And I will just put the onDisable, select it, and then onEnable, and then click OK. So you can type this function by hand, or you can use this shortcut as me. I will just move this onEnable to be above the onDisable. Okay, so inside the onEnable function, let's quickly go call the game events dot onBoard completed plus equal, and I will call it show win popup. Okay, and then I will just duplicate this line and move it to the onDisable, and then let's put the minus here. Make sure you put this minus, and now we can just add this function in. Okay, so I have created the private function show win popup. So inside this function, I will simply call the win popup dot set active to be equal to true. And then there is one more function I want to add, which is the public void load next level. Okay, and this function will call game events dot load next level method. Okay, so we need to quickly create this event. I will just copy this name. Let's save everything. And now let's go back to our game events. And below our unlock next category, I will just copy this unlock next category and paste it down below, and then put the event name, which will be load next level. And let's replace these names really quickly. Okay, on no load next level. Okay, so we have the load next level method implemented. So let's just double check if the names are match. Load next level method. Let's go to our win popup, and the name is the same. Okay. So the last thing we want to do, we want to go to our word checker and then scroll right at the top. And then inside our onEnable method, I want to call the game events dot onLoad next level plus equal load next level next game level. I will call it like that. Okay, and then I will duplicate this line, move it into the on disable, and then put the minus. And now we can add this function in. So this is going to be very small function. So below I will put the private void, and I will copy this name. Okay, and this function will be just simple call the scene management load next level. So scene manager dot load level load scene, and we need to pass the correct name for our game scene. So let's quickly go, let's save everything and go back to Unity, go to our scenes folder, and make sure you grab the name of the scene of the game scene, which is the game scene. So I will just press F2, copy this name, go back to our scripts, word checker, and inside our load next level, next game level, I will put the load scene, apostrophe, and game scene. Okay, so we have everything in. Let's save everything. Let's go back to Unity. And now let's select our win popup. Make sure you select this object above the win popup, and then grab our win popup script and drop it into this game object. And then we need to initialize our win popup. So grab our popup and drop it onto the win popup. Okay, and actually I'm gonna grab this panel and move it below the popup. So the panel will be the child of the popup. So when we deactivate the popup, we're gonna deactivate the panel. Okay, so make sure you have this popup initialized in your script. And now let's select our next button, and then let's go to the on-click event, click this small plus, then I will grab my popup and drop it into the objects, and then from the functions, let's select the game object, set active, and leave this this square unchecked. And then I'll get another plus, and then we're gonna grab our win popup object, drop it into this random object, and from the functions, let's select the win popup, load next level. And now let's go to our main camera, grab our game utility class and drop it into the main camera. And now we can select the exit button, and then go to the on-click event, click the small plus, select our main camera, drag and drop the main camera into the runtime object. From the functions, select the game utility, load scene, and we want to load, when we exit, we actually want to load our main menu. So let's double check the scene name, main menu. Make sure you put the right name, main menu. Okay. Okay, so I think we are ready to test our game. Actually, there are two more things we need to do. The first, let's select this pop-up and deactivate it. Make sure you deactivate the pop-up, not the win pop-up, because this script needs to be active. Okay, we can just hide it. And then let's grab our word grid. And inside our word checker, we still need to initialize this game level data. So go to our resources, data, and then get our game level data, grab it, and drop it into the game level data object. Okay, so now everything is set. We can go to the file, save, and file, save project. And let's start it. Start the game. So I will go back to my main menu, press play. Okay, and then let's start the game. So I have 0 puzzles solved. Let's start the game, and then let's solve these puzzles. So beef, and then bake. And as you see, nothing happened. I have found the issue, what was causing that. So let's quickly go to our scripts, word checker, and inside the word checker, let's go to the checkboard function. And there is one more variable which we need to increase. So before the words equal empty string, we want to get our completed words plus plus. Okay, So this is the variable which we need to increase, because later on, as you see, we are checking if our current searching word is equal to the completed words. So make sure you add this line of code in. Now let's save everything, and then let's go back to Unity and let's press play. Okay, so let's start. So beef baked. And as you see, everything works fine, except this grid is displayed on the top of our pop-up and is still interactable, which is not correct. But the next button is working fine as well. So we are able to load the next puzzles. So let's quickly fix that. So in order to do that, let's go to the scenes, game scene. Let's select our canvas. And as you see, the canvas order in layer is currently set to 0, the same as the word grid. So I will just set this order in layer to be equal to 2. And now let's save everything. Go back to the main menu. So press play. As you see, our progress bar is working fine. We have solved one puzzle. Press play again. And everything is fine, but now the background is displayed above the grid. So we need to separate that. So let's stop the game, go back to the game scene, and let's go to our canvas. And we will have to move this background to another canvas. So I will just right click UI canvas, and I will call this canvas background canvas, and move this canvas directly below the main camera, above the grid and below the main camera. And now let's move this background to be child of the background canvas. Okay, and select this background, go to the 3 dots and then hit the reset, and now hit the set native size. Okay, and now let's select this background canvas, and we need to change this screen space, the render mode, to screen space camera. Grab our main camera, drop it into the render camera, and from the UI scaling, sets with screen size, and I will change this to be 1080 by 1920, and the match value will be 0.5. Okay, so now we have our background on the order in layer 0, and then the rest of the UI will be on the order in layer 2. So now let's save everything again, and I hope now everything will work. So let's go to the main menu, press play. Okay, let's solve another puzzles. So cakes, pork, and then salad. And as you see, everything is working fine. So we have our well done window displayed. We have our next button and then exit button. So we have already tested the next button. Let's try the exit button. And we are exiting to the main menu. And our progress bar is working fine. So we currently solved the 2 out of 4 puzzles. Seems like our game is getting into the shape now. So I think that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we will add another pop-up to be displayed whenever we completed all of the puzzles from the certain categories. And also we need to implement the timer to be able to implement the game over logic. And then we're gonna go to implement our advertisement in. If you have any issue with implementing this code, please let me know in the comments below this video. So thanks for watching, and I will see you again in the next episode.